Aloha, folks. You are listening to Inside the Desert Oasis Room, episode number 105. This episode is sponsored by the Tonga Hut. Opened in 1958, the Tonga Hut in North Hollywood is LA's oldest continuously run tiki bar. With locations in both North Hollywood and Palm Springs, California, the Tonga Hut serves classic tiki cocktails in a classic tiki setting. Dine in a secret tiki hideaway or learn about rum and rum history in one of their educational seminars. And if you're up to the challenge, take the journey to join the Loyal Order of Drooling Bastards. For information on events, Rum Club, and more, go to tongahut.com or find them on Facebook or Instagram. On this episode, we are joined by Mo Herms and Stephen Mitchell. Mo is a radio industry veteran who hosts and produces Music and Booze with Mo. And Stephen is her partner in crime who also happens to dabble in a little art, having done pieces for the Tiki-Ti and the Dresden. And if that isn't enough, we're treated with a cameo by Voodoo Jorge from Frankie's Tiki Oasis. As always, I hope you enjoy this episode as much as we did bringing it to you. And if you did, hit that subscribe button. Subscribing makes it easier for you to follow our adventures. Shares on your social media are always appreciated, and if you'd like to help support the show, go to desertoasisroom.com and click on the donate button. Every donation, no matter the size, is totally appreciated and helps keep this podcast coming to you every week. Okay, here they are, Mo Herms and Stephen Mitchell. Every time I first get behind the bar, I have to get my bearings straight.
Well, because you got equipment.
Because I got to think, okay, what am I going to do?
Oh, what do you want? What do you want a shot of?
What do we drink?
Oh, do you want a shot?
I think he needs.
I'll do a shot before we have a drinky drink.
Yeah.
Okay. El Dorado 5.
Okay.
Is that all right? Okay.
I don't think I've ever had El Dorado 5.
Well, you will now.
I feel like we have it. At the bar at Mermaid.
Is that a real
we have like a 7.
Clark?
That is a reproduction.
Okay.
It looks like a real one, though, right?
Oh, is that the one on the top shelf?
Wendy Swola, right?
That one's a Notch version.
Okay.
Notch did that one. So here's the thing.
Nerds.
Yeah, Wendy's looks just like it, which looks just like the one in the book. But the way it's portrayed in the book, it's cropped in real close and it's very large on the page.
Small.
In real life, it's actually small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one in the book, that and the Blue Hawaii Bob are the 2 rarest ones, right? Is that one? Is that what you're talking about? Because I don't know mugs. I only, if I know this, it's from listening to your podcast.
Yeah, probably. There's a Francoma Tiki in there, and
that's up there in the.
That's another one of the rare ones, and then there's a Tiki that's got a hula girl in the mouth. That's another rare one. Yeah, so.
Hula girl in the mouth. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so cheers. Is that enough?
That's perfect.
That'll get them warmed up.
All right, so I'm going to do...
Is that like a little China doll kind of mug?
Yeah, well, this one is actually, it's a Tiki Farm mug, believe it or not. Uh-huh. And I can't read the bottom because I don't have my glasses on right now. But perhaps you can.
I just can't.
Orchids of Hawaii, Japan.
Okay. So it's not Tiki Farm, it's Orchids
of Hawaii.
I just knew it was a mass-produced little guy.
Yeah, no, well, it does look like a little mass-produced, but it's like a little babushka doll or something. You know, the nesting dolls?
And there should be like 3 more little ones
Totally.
inside.
It looks like those nesting dolls, kind of.
Right.
It's a really cute little mug. Well, I guess it's not really little, is it? It's adorable.
I found it at a thrift store.
Yeah.
And I couldn't leave it, right?
It's adorable.
Even though it's not really tiki, but I couldn't leave it, so...
I would totally use that as a vase or something. As a flower vase.
Awesome being here.
Being here in the Desert Oasis room.
I'm glad you like it. Okay, so...
Beautiful space.
Ferris is wandering around. wondering what's
Ferris
going on.
was under the table.
Here. No, he's behind the bar now.
And Lily is just outside the door watching.
There he is, pushing on the.
Hi, Lily.
He wants the ice. Look, Ferris is crawling up on the ice.
He pushed on the.
Did he close the door?
On the ice chest.
That's probably the best reason to have all your mugs kind of cemented down is the kitties.
Believe it or not, they don't jump on the shelf.
Really?
Yeah, they don't really care.
Not yet, anyway, because when I had those lentils on the stove, there was fire up there, and Ferris was just like, "Hey, what's going on up here? I'm gonna check that out." I'm like, "Dude, your whiskers are gonna be like singed off in 2 seconds if you try to get up there."
Yeah, well, he's fearless. Like he does stuff that he's not supposed to do. So he always wants to learn the hard way. He's a typical kid, right? So all right, so let me make a couple things here.
He's Ferris. He's gonna grow into his name.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, so that's why I named him Ferris because
you could tell he was trouble right
when when we adopted him, his adopted name was Pizza. Right? I'm not kidding. It was Pizza. So that was the name that was on the card. And I thought, okay, I could see why they called him Pizza. Because the face, like, it looks like he just ate pizza, right? So he's got orange all over his face and under his mouth. But I just thought it was a stupid name.
It is a stupid name.
It is a stupid name.
It's the stupidest name ever.
And then when we brought him home, like, even actually when we were still there, we changed the name to Ferris because he was being real rambunctious, like in that little room they put you in. Yeah. And so I thought, oh, this guy's going to be trouble. So I said, I think I want to name him Ferris.
Totally.
And at first, Steph was like, I don't know about Ferris. And I said, yeah, Ferris, that's a cool name. And she goes, okay. She's like, okay, that's kind of, all right. And so we actually had them change it in the system while we were adopting him. Yeah, so.
And I don't know if you've heard the story.
He's back here
Ferris
now.
like came and went from this house and then came back.
Oh, he doesn't know the story, huh?
Yeah, because they adopted Ferris. They got Ferris and Lily about the same time.
See, look at him.
Oh my God.
He's like, what's going on up here?
Tiki cat.
Come here, Ferris.
He totally mixes in with the surroundings, though.
I know.
He's sort of the same color as the bamboo.
He kind of is, right?
You leave that open, he'll fall into the ice, and then,
all right,
there you
so
go.
I have to think about. Let me think about what I'm doing here because once I get started, I got to get my flow. I got to get my flow.
So Ferris, they got Ferris and they got Lily, and he'll correct me because I'm just doing the super abbreviated from memory version of this. They got Ferris and Lily very soon after, like within a day or two.
We got Lily
the same day. It was you guys just plucked out those cats.
We got Lily at the same time, but Lily, she had to get fixed, so we didn't bring her home until maybe 10 days later, a little over a week later.
Yeah. So they're back here. They're here at the house, and she was super scaredy cat. Surprised like she is now.
Yeah,
super scaredy cat, but more scaredy cat because we wouldn't even be seeing her right now.
Right.
Before she was just hiding under the bed if there were people talking and everything. And Ferris though was older than her and much more rambunctious and really rough, playing rough with her all the time, and to the extent that they were both worried that he was going to hurt her.
Ooh. Yeah.
And they're like, maybe they can't coexist. Maybe he needs to be his own cat and not have other cats. So they made the decision to return him and take him back.
Yeah, that was after Ferris had already been here for
like a week or two.
2 weeks.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So they took him back, and within a day, Adrian was just crying, like we did the wrong thing.
The same day. Yeah. The same day. I was we dropped him off, and then I was bawling. We went to go get lunch afterwards, and I was bawling. And I had to walk outside the restaurant. I was pacing on the sidewalk, and I was bawling. Mm-hmm. And Stephanie and Sydney were like, where did he go? And then they went outside and they said, hey, are you okay? And I couldn't even talk. It was like that, where I was just
you felt like a bad person, right?
Yeah, I felt like the guilt, and I just felt, and then we had gotten attached already, right? Yeah. And they were like, is this, and then I said, it's Ferris. And they were like, oh. So then they were like, well, you did the right thing. We did the right thing. They kept trying to reassure me we did the right thing, And then I couldn't sleep that night.
Kitten, very friendly, so it wasn't like he wasn't going to get adopted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't sleep that night. And then the next morning I woke up so early, the sun wasn't even out yet. It was still dark. And I was like, and I woke up Steph, and she was like, are you okay? What's going on? And I was like, I said, did we do the right thing? I said, I feel like we didn't do the right thing. And she's like, okay. And I said, I want to go get him. He needs to come home. And she was like, okay. Like right away, she was just like, yeah, okay. Then let's go get him then. And so...
so they went back?
Yeah, so we went back. Yeah, I put $500 cash in my pocket. And then I stood in line. I got there an hour early before they opened. And I thought, like, okay... I took Chris with me and I gave him a game plan. I said, you're going to go this way, I'm going to go that way, and as soon as we find him, we're going to pull the tag so that nobody can,
adopt him.
Yeah. And we got him. The reason why I put $500 cash in my pocket is that it was December, and I figured if some kid picked him out before I did, I could say, hey, kid, what do you want for Christmas?
Yeah.
You want a new Xbox? Then pick out another cat.
And then Ferris was back. He came back.
That's how Ferris came back home.
Okay, we're gonna hope they get along, and now they do.
Yeah, I was telling Steph that, like I said, maybe we didn't try hard enough, and then we came up with a plan we'll separate them and we'll
kind of reintroduce them to each other.
Yeah. So we separated them for
playing now.
A good 7 months, I think.
Oh wow, is it that long?
Yeah, like 6 or 7 months, and then so like they would take turns sleeping with us because they both want to sleep in our bed, So like, okay, so Ferris slept here last night, so now it's Lily's turn. So now Ferris sleeps outside the room, and so we had like cat boxes in different rooms, and it was a pain in the ass, but it worked out. Now they can coexist. Like they would fight, but they are actually not bad now. So,
which plantation is this?
This is Original Dark. Oh, I'm using the wrong one. But that's okay. See, this is what happens when I don't have my glasses on.
I was going to say, we can't...
Where's your glasses? Oh,
they're right there.
We haven't even started drinking yet.
That's all right.
He's already forgetting things.
That's all right.
Pulling the wrong stuff, losing his glasses. At least they weren't on your head. I'm glad they were sitting right here.
That's all right.
They were on your
this
head.
should still be halfway decent.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be good.
Sure, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Whatever you're doing will be tasty. Plantation's lovely.
It is. It's very good.
Yeah, pretty much all of it. I thought it was plantation. I'm like, ooh, which one do we get?
So what I should have done was I should have seen what I had under my bar first before.
Oh.
No.
I hate it when they get stuck. Well, at least yours are both silver tin. I need to get another tin one so that my shaker is both tin. Because I have a glass one, which is great.
I was using the glass before.
Yeah.
But then I stopped using the glass because I get a better seal with the
tin?
with the mini tin.
I just always worry when it gets stuck like that I'm going to crack it someday. And I give it.
The glass.
Yeah, because sometimes they get stuck. When you shake them, you've seen it. It happens to us all the time. It gets stuck there, and it's like I hit it, but I never hit it quite hard enough because I'm afraid of cracking it or something.
Yeah, I get a better seal from the
tin.
Yeah.
Tin on tin action.
From the tinny tin. Yeah. Okay. This one ran a little bit short, but that's okay. I'm still gonna.
I'll take the lesser of the three.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm ultimately the driver.
Okay,
so.
I was gonna drink it because.
No. You live here. You don't have to go anywhere.
Well, that's what a host does, though, right?
I had the shot.
And that's all right. You don't have to drive. Okay. You enjoy yourself. You're in the Desert Oasis room.
Yeah. All right, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's lovely to be back. And this is Steven's first time.
Yeah, it still came out all right. Even though I didn't use the right rum, but...
What do you call this?
Oh, it's yummy.
This is a Desert Oasis daiquiri.
Oh, yay! Daiquiri is my favorite drink.
So,
it's so simple. And if you can do it right...
Well, the thing about a daiquiri is it's supposed to highlight the taste of the rum. Mm-hmm. But I put a little bit of simple in there just to sweeten it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But... Yeah, this recipe is, I've kind of like, it took me a few months to kind of balance it out the right way, but I thought I was using the pineapple rum, but I was using the dark rum instead.
Oh, you mean this time?
Yeah.
For this drink?
But that's okay. I just knew.
Behind you, isn't it? Yeah.
There it is. It's like, where is it? So I'm like digging through my bottles down here.
Ferris, were you moving the bottles of rum around? Since you're like the bar assistant?
But that's okay. It still came out good.
It's totally delicious. I love a daiquiri. It's funny because I'm a tequila girl.
Are you really?
You didn't know that about me?
No, I didn't.
How did you?
So do you like mezcal?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I love mezcal.
How did I not know that? How did you not know that?
I don't know.
It seems like...
Maybe just because we're always drinking in tiki bars that I assume that you're a rum person.
It's true. And, I know, Spike, Matt Marble, said to me once, he was like, well, for a tequila girl, you sure hang out in a lot of rum bars. I'm like, I hang out in tiki bars.
Yeah.
Okay? But I love tequila mezcal is my number one. And so I love a good margarita. And people are just like, oh, margaritas.
I love a good margarita,
I'm like,
too.
No, but if it's made right...
Mm-hmm. If it's made right, it's fucking great.
And daiquiri is the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just with rum.
Yeah.
They're the same
You're
drink.
right. It's the same drink.
They're the same drink. They're the exact same. Well, not exactly. They're almost the exact same. It's lime and the spirit.
Right.
And then, depending on what your third is.
How often do you get to Las Perlas?
Not often enough.
Because if you're a tequila person, then that's the bar to go to.
Oh my God, it's amazing. I love Las Perlas. And you know how I have the whiskey tastings? I haven't gone to one of those in forever. You've never been to one with me. Adrian's been with me. You came with me to one of those whiskey tastings, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to one.
Yeah. Las Perlas does them every Wednesday.
Oh, do they really?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What time do they do that?
Like at 7:30 or 8.
Oh, well, shit, we should go.
And I never go because I'm always at Tiki-Ti.
At Tiki-Ti. Well, we can do both.
We can come back, yeah. But I always remember, me, I usually go to Tiki-Ti, hang out for a little bit, and then I go home and go back to work. So, but that is probably not going to be the case for a while now because my work schedule has shifted in such a way that I can go to Tiki-Ti and stay there now. Okay. I would totally go. You have to pay for that tasting though, because I'm not a member of whatever their club is, but it's like $15 or something.
Yeah.
But I get notices every week. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, I'll go to that.
I love Las Perlas. It's beautiful.
Now, here's the thing.
And they always give you free tacos.
Oh, do they really?
They do. They've got little ladies there making rolled tacos or something like that.
I like mezcal, but I don't really like tequila.
Yeah, I could see that. They're different.
But I actually love mezcal. I love the smoky flavor.
I kind of look at it now as if you liked tequila and then you got into mezcal.
Yeah.
And your palate changed somewhat because mezcal has that smoky chemical. It's just different and stronger. Tequila is like baby juice.
Well, it's the smoky. It's the smokiness because the tequila is just a little rough for me, But the mezcal, I just like the flavor.
On the tequila. There's still wonderful tequila out
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't know tequila at all.
It's funny, though, because I used to drink so much more tequila and then got into mezcal and then started drinking mezcal. And when I go back to tequila, I almost feel like, ooh, this is so bland.
Yeah.
You'd like this drink I came up with. I was at the Dresden and I wanted a Hemingway daiquiri.
Well, Stephen has pull at the Dresden.
So I had,
really?
I had him make me a Hemingway daiquiri. I'm like, you know what? Let's put mezcal in it. Did some more research and garnish it with one of those cherries you're not supposed to do.
So you had him do it with mezcal instead of rum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
but the Hemingway, which
not in addition to rum.
Yeah, so I replaced it and named it Smoky Papa. And it tasted good. Because he would make it with, he had Ilegal.
And when he made
the
Reposado.
Is that how you pronounce it?
It's not pronounced illegal.
Right.
It's pronounced ilegal because it's Mexican. And, so ilegal. Mm-hmm.
So the Blanco one, I liked a little better, I think, but the Reposado one was really good.
Yeah.
And because even more smoke kind of came through. But both of them, I was just like, I invented a cocktail. Getting official.
I wish that I had... Thanks, Christian. I wish I had known that before...
He just did this like 2 weeks ago, I think. He came up with that. And we were there the next night after he'd done this, and we were having dinner, actually. And he asked the server, because he's such a wheel at the Dresden... He was like, hey, is so-and-so working? Was it Rich who did it?
No, Rennie.
Rennie? He's like, so-and-so working? I'm like, yeah. He goes, tell him I want a Smoky Papa. And he comes back. So from the bar, comes back into the restaurant.
See the way he says it.
Oh, is Steven here somewhere?
Yeah, they're like, oh, Steven's here.
Like, no way.
So I was with Tanduay Rum at last year's San Diego Spirits Festival. And it's not a rum fest, it's a spirits fest. So there's other spirits there.
Yeah.
Veras Mezcal was next door to us, or I should say, like, the booth next to us. And when I go to these events with Tanduay, I get friendly with everybody around me, right? So we got set up. We're going to be there for like 3 days, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We get set up, and then I lean over and I said, hey, neighbor. And the guy, turns to me and he goes, Adrian. And I said, have we met before? And he goes, Not that I know of. And I said, how'd you know my name? And he goes, no, I'm saying my name. And I said, I said, my name's Adrian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
like, how often does that happen to you?
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So what was cool is he had a reposado and he had a white, and they were handing out samples all weekend.
Yeah.
We were handing out our gold and our silver all weekend, and I say we because I was associated with Tandawai. And all weekend long, we were tipping off each other on, hey, they're giving away free sandwiches over there and this and that, and we became buddies. Like, at the end of the day, they were like, you want to go watch the fight? And then we were coordinating to go to a bar to watch the fight. And at the end of the weekend, we traded bottles, and I have some if you want to try it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I was saying. I wish I had known that you guys were mezcal drinkers, so that when you wanted that shot before we started, I would have given you mezcal instead.
Oh my God, it would have been great.
You can still do it,
We can still do it.
It's still possible. Ooh, the kitties are playing ball outside.
So that ball right there is a disco ball. It's like a mini disco ball. And so Ferris, what he does... Actually, both of them, like when they first started,
Lily's right around the corner.
When they first came to this house and they started interacting.
Is that like a Christmas ornament that has now become a cat toy?
When they started interacting, they would go up to Sydney's room and they'd pick out little stuffed animals or toys to play with. Everything's a toy to Ferris.
Yeah,
and it's hilarious. Like. He'll get a toy and he'll bring it down, and then Lily will follow him because she's such a copycat. And when they fight, sometimes he'll bring her a toy, like as a peace offering, and he'll drop it down in front of her, and then they'll start playing again. Or sometimes he'll go upstairs and he'll bring us a toy, and like when they fight, sometimes Stephanie will kick him out of the room and she'll say like, out of the room. So he'll leave, like, she'll put him out of the room and close the door, right? And then a few minutes later, you'll hear scratching, and then you'll open the door, and he brought a toy up.
Oh, because he wants forgiveness from
everybody. And he drops it, like in front of you, so that they can... It's
his equivalent of a dead bird.
Yeah.
Since
They're both in here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do that.
They can ball play with.
Yeah.
I was telling Stephanie that my cat, the cat I grew up with, who lived to be 22 years old, just like your cat, he was super badass. And he was the neighborhood cat that beat everybody else's cats up. So we'd always have people coming over, and I named him Fluffy because I got him when I was 3. So, and he was this huge, like 18-pound, long-haired, yellow and white cat, and orange, yellow, white, that kind of thing. And I think that everybody knew who he was, and the neighbors would come over and be like, you gotta keep Fluffy inside because he came over and beat up my cat and he did this. But Fluffy would not only kill things, because our cats is 70s in the suburbs in San Diego, so our cats were in and out. Even though we had coyotes in that neighborhood, we'd bring them in at night. And usually you'd have to because of the coyotes. But during the day, they'd be outside and everything. And so they used to, Fluffy, brutal, tough. I always think of it as like a boy named Sue kind of story. I named him Fluffy so he had to prove himself and go out there and like beat people up and everything because his name was Fluffy. But he'd bring back dead animals. He'd kill things and drop them for us.
My old cat did that too.
Right. But sometimes he would bring us like fish or steak off of people's grills.
Wow!
Like you could tell because like he'd bring like
grill marks.
You could tell they were probably sitting there, and the person went inside to get a beer or something, and then he just stole it off the plate.
Right.
But he would bring us steak.
That's awesome.
It's not like he brought us a piece of a dead animal. He did, but this had been finally cleaned by some butcher. Right. It was literally a steak. He'd bring and he'd drop it on the cement there, and it's like.
You're like, thank you.
We really pissed off a neighbor now.
You know what these two do is they...
He'd bring us fish, too. Like whole fish.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Where would it get a whole fish?
Neighbors' backyards.
Yeah.
Like if they were going to grill it. You know?
Yeah.
We had all these Mexican neighbors. They were probably going to make one of those fancy, like, leave the head on kind of things. And he'd show up with a fish bigger than his body.
These two go around looking for bugs. And Lily will eat bugs. Like if she sees a grasshopper or something.
She's paying the rent.
Yeah. But they don't bring us something like that. Like they don't bring back a dead bug.
They bring you this.
They just eat it.
Mezcal veras.
Yeah. So
it's a yum.
Shout out to our friend Adrian Selby.
Yeah, Adrian at Veras Mezcal.
Veras Mezcal. Do you guys want to try it?
This is a really pretty bottle.
Want to try it a little bit?
I mean, the label, I should say. Yeah, I'll try some.
Reuse that.
You want, well, it's got rummy in it, right? Here, I have the.
Clean ones.
I have some
He's got a million
smaller
back here.
shot glasses if you want.
Oh, Ferris is all
Try
sniffing
that.
my stuff.
Pop that.
Look, now we're drinking tequila in the Desert Oasis room.
Tequila in the Desert Oasis
Oh,
room.
I'm sorry, we're drinking mezcal in the Desert Oasis
Mezcal. This is the first
just have a sip
time
of
I
that.
think that anyone's tried.
The Veras in
Other
in
than
this
me,
room.
yeah.
Oh, really? I'm not going to drink this whole thing. Because I'm going to have
we'll
another
share it.
cocktail.
He's like, I am.
Yeah, I'll drink some of it. You finish it off. Steven's
Cheers.
good at that. Cheers. Wait, are you going to have any?
No.
You're fine.
Okay, I'll have a little bit.
Adrian, it feels kind of like...
Well, I didn't want to mix my spirits.
Oh, don't worry about that.
But I'm not going to drink as much
Says
as you
the
guys.
driver. I'm like, yeah, hey. Ooh, it kind of smells like corn. That's interesting.
So
cheers.
here's the thing. Cheers. Here's the thing about us sharing spirits all weekend. When they gave the awards out at the end of the weekend, both of our brands won medals. So we won.
Oh, that's awesome.
We won. I think we
this
won
is
this.
like fruity. Wait, is it? Or am I still tasting daiquiri?
Flowers.
Oh. Oh, poor Steven. He's so apprehensive.
So
Just say what comes to mind.
they
Flowers.
won
Yeah,
medals
it's
for each
totally-
of theirs. We won medals for each of ours.
Wow.
And so we were congratulating each other. And I remember putting everything together, putting all of our spirits together with all the medals draped over everything and taking photos of that. I thought it was kind of cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
That's kind
yeah.
of neat that you guys were accidental like booth mates in a way. And
Yeah, then
You
we
turned out to be the
became
winners.
we became pals and we started following each other on social media. And they're out of Vegas.
cool.
He's from Vegas, but this obviously
really?
comes from Mexico. So
But is this company based in Vegas? I mean, it's Mexico, but they distribute out
I
of
don't
Nevada?
know. I have
Oh,
no
that's
idea.
interesting. That's
Also a
cool.
great bottle, too.
I know. I love this label. It's gorgeous. Hecho en Oaxaca.
I think the reposado is gone.
Yeah, that's
That's
really
beautiful.
good.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever that is called,
Bottled in
that
place of
flowery aroma, whatever the correct
Yeah, less gasoline, more
adjective for that is.
more flour. You can say flour.
Is that what makes mezcal different from tequila?
Oh, I'm so not that expert. Because George is going to listen to this, and anything I say, he's going to school me on. So I'm going to say nothing.
Okay.
I don't want the Romeros getting all up in my business.
Let's ask
about
him.
It.
Should we
You
ask
call
him?
him?
Yeah, let's call him.
Yeah, call him and ask. Because it's like I've read about it so many times, but it's, from what I understand, it's a different region that it's made of. It's a different agave that it's made of. The process is like smoked in a pit. There's a certain process.
We're going to call him right now and he's going to say,
Call him and say,
no, that's all wrong.
give us the definition. Give us the definition. Because I swear, I've read it so many times. I've gone to so many educational things, and I never remember. Because I'm like, I just remember this tastes good.
Hello.
Oh,
Hey.
hi, George.
What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm
How's it
recording.
going?
I'm recording a podcast with Mo right now. So
What's up,
And
Mo?
Steven. Steven's here too.
and Steven. So
Hey.
Hola, Steven.
so you're on the air. Hey, we're calling because we have a question. We have a mezcal question for you.
What's the question?
Well, it's a mezcal tequila question.
What makes mezcal different from tequila?
Well, all tequilas are a mezcal, but not every mezcal is a tequila.
Aha.
But tequila can only be blue agave.
See?
That's it. Then also the process too, because most of the time they steam it now, so
Oh.
they try to get that flavorless agave taste down, as opposed to mezcal with the
Okay.
smoke. Yeah.
Which is smoked, so...
Oh, so the tequila they're trying to remove that smoke from it.
Yeah, they usually steam it now, I think, for the most part. The big companies steam it, so you don't get that smoke. The mezcal's still done in a pit, So they have to
okay.
smoke it.
All right.
It's underground, so you get kind of like
And
pure.
like all agave spirits kind of start as mezcal, though, right? I mean, in a
Yeah,
sense.
the only thing with tequila now is it has to be blue agave.
It has to be
You
blue
can't-
agave. It doesn't matter
Mezcal
on
is
the,
like every other agave but blue agave.
and what about the region? Like, I thought it matters in the region in some cases because, like,
No,
mezcal...
everything's mezcal. There's like mezcal in Zacatecas, like Oaxaca. Oaxaca's the main one because it has the majority of agaves. But
Yeah.
Right.
it
And
could
then-
be anywhere. As
and
long
then,
as
like-
it's not... Tequila has to be done in Jalisco.
Jalisco,
That's
right?
Yeah, it's the only place it could be done.
Yeah. And then, like,
Yeah.
because, for example, like, Bacanora is mezcal, but it's just a different region, I think, right?
It's just with that specific agave they use, I believe.
For Bacanora too? I think Bacanora and Mezcal can share agaves. I think they can be the same agave.
They're agave based, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure the plus with Bacanora though.
Okay. Because I was under the impression with Bacanora that it's more of like the champagne thing that just depends on the area. But I'm not 100%. So actually,
yeah, Mezcal is not like that because I know people think, oh, it's got to be Oaxaca, but
there's a lot of different ones. Different ones. So yeah, but I wasn't.
So Mezcal's the king.
Cool.
Right.
Cool. So I wasn't super off then.
Yeah. Well, because I don't know. That's why I was calling. Because we had some here that we were just drinking. It just tastes so different than tequila. Because I don't really like tequila, but I love mezcal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and then you get, depending on what agave you're drinking, like you'll go from like fruity to like earth to like it's just different flavors. You got to find your agave.
And it also depends like where it's grown and everything too. Like the one we've got right now is almost like kind of flowery and citrusy.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's
tequila's like vodka now. It's like everything tastes the same.
I know, right? That's what I was saying too. It's like I feel like I go back to tequila and it's almost like bland. Like I'm just like, I just want to go back to the mezcal.
It's boring now. You're like, I don't want this. It's just
But it was our gateway drug, George. It was our gateway.
Oh no, I get it. Yeah, but once I found mezcal, I was like, bye.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny.
Bye, Felicia.
It's like your grade school girlfriend, and then you're like, see ya.
I'm in high school now. Oh yeah, I'm in college. Yeah, I was joking because Adrian was asking me, well, what's the difference? And I'm like, oh God, I've read it, I've studied it, I've done this so many times, but you're asking me now, I'm going to say something wrong, and George is going to be listening. He's like, no, bitch, it's like this. So he's like, let's just call him.
Let's call George and find out.
Let's just call. Okay, cool. So I wasn't super off base, though, so I feel a little better about myself. Thanks, George.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, guys.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
All right, cheers.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. That was like we called in the lifeline.
Right? Totally. See, he totally schooled us. So we know.
I always say that I'm like, I would suck on quiz shows. And if you ask me a question, that I would just immediately, even if it was like...
Do you play along when you watch?
Quiz shows or whatever?
Yeah, like game shows.
Well, okay, so, my favorite band in the world is Duran Duran, right? And it will be till the day I die.
Didn't know that.
Did you not know that either? Yeah, it totally is. Totally. Even though, there's no point.
I'm a bad bar husband.
You're a really bad bar husband.
I don't know.
You didn't know I like tequila? That's actually the shocking part. If you're my bar husband, you're supposed to know I like tequila at least. But I always joked if I was on a game show and it was like, we'll give you $1 million. Name the 5 members of Duran Duran. I would be like,
Taylor.
I would just blank out. But we do what is your trivia game?
Oh, the HQ trivia game. The one you get on your phone?
Okay.
Are you familiar with it?
Oh, is this the one that you're timed and you play against other people?
Yeah.
Because my kids play that, and then they turn to me and they ask me questions, and a lot of it's from my generation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... and then they'll say, oh, never mind, too late. And I'm like, well, don't you want the answer? No, I don't care.
But it's funny because they'll have a prize that's like $5,000, but then there's like 12,000 people that win.
Right.
So you get like 30 cents.
Yeah.
But it's still cool to say you won.
Yeah, so it's like I never heard of this thing until I got mixed up with this guy. And then we'd go out and he's like, oh, it's like 6 o'clock every day or something. Oh, quiz time. And we'll be sitting there and he'll pull up his phone and... Usually the volume's off, which is good because I think those hosts would annoy me if I could hear.
Hosts are annoying. You have 10 seconds to answer a question.
Yeah.
It's usually like 12 questions. Sometimes they have like a lot of money, but I've never won.
Give me an example of one of the questions.
Well, they always start off kind of easy, and then they...
Any like bar trivia type stuff. They start out super easy and then get harder as it goes on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be anything.
And when they throw in a trick question, they actually call it something else. When it's
savage question. Because they'll be like...
Oh, savage? That's what they call it?
They'll be like, if like say there's like 1 million people playing, and 500,000 get one question wrong, then they call it savage question.
Yeah, if it's something where it was like, I don't,
But it can be stupid.
Where the answer is something where you're like, oh my God, I swear that was the right answer what I gave, because it's something that is kind of
all multiple choice,
commonly conceived of as being an answer, but the real answer was this. So it's like a trick question. I can't think of anything as an example right now, but it'll happen and you'll just be like, oh man, and you'll see how many people also guess like you did, because it'll show you how many people guess to each answer, and then when tons of people lose out, they flash on the screen. It'll say savage question.
I don't play it much anymore.
How come?
No, it's just too stressful.
I can get that. I get the whole stressful part.
You're like, and then question 3, you're like, oh,
Right. This is supposed to be relaxing.
It's supposed to be fun.
I'm not enjoying this.
But you'll see people, like, you'll go to bars, or you'll be at restaurants, or you'll be out somewhere, and you'll see all these people, like, boom, 6 o'clock, they're on their phone, and people, like I'm always leaning over his shoulder going, no, it's Pluto. Pluto's the one that's not a planet anymore, or something, you know? Everyone's, like, chipping in and stuff. And so he'll be playing, and I'll be like, no, it's this. And he'll answer, and he'll be wrong. He's like, woman. Not listening to you anymore, but I can answer all the other ones, you know, like, oh, sorry, why do you listen to me?
That's hilarious.
You lost a whole 86 cents because of me.
If you have a product, service, or event that you'd like to bring attention to, we can help. Imagine hearing your ad in this spot, just like you're hearing this one right now. Sponsor an episode and get the exposure you deserve. For more information, go to desertoasisroom.com and click on Services.
This is awesome. First mezcal in the Desert Oasis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
So I'm going to make another drink.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to have you guess.
Okay. So we should not watch you do what you're going to do.
You could watch if you want, but I know you're going to guess what it is after you taste it.
I had my first guess already.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Why don't you
that was easy.
Throw it out there. Adrian's like holding empty tins. I'm like, wow.
It's like it hasn't even been touched.
Well, he does this game with me. Like, we'll be just talking about something, and then all of a sudden he'll just go, I'll give you $100 if you tell me what song I'm thinking of right now. And I'm just like, when we first started dating and he started saying that, I'm like, I don't know. How am I supposed to know that? He says, just guess. Like, I'm like, I need a clue. Well, did you wake up in a bad mood? Did you, at first I was like that. And then he's like, no, just guess something. So now he says that and I'll just be like, more, Andrea True Connection. He's like, no, I like that, but no, it was this song. And I'm like, well, how was I supposed to guess that? He's
it
like,
could be anything. If somebody ever gets that right, I'm going to be like, holy shit.
It's true. I'm sort of like, yeah, I'll get it right when we're like 103 years old. You'll say like, you'll be like, guess what song I'm thinking of right now? And I don't know, I'm going to say like, Rock the Boat, George McRae or George McHugh or whatever that guy's name is. And you're going to be like, oh my God, yes. And then we're both going to drop dead.
But
that's the only way.
I'll probably have Duran Duran in my head at that point.
No.
Okay, what's your favorite Duran Duran song?
My favorite Duran Duran song? Oh, that's a tough call. Because I've got a couple that are up there. The first two that came to mind when you said that, and literally they both came to mind at the same time, were both from the Rio album. And they were Last Chance on the Stairway and New Religion, which are both on side 2 and kind of follow each other. But then I also love Lonely in Your Nightmare, which is also on Rio. But then I also love The Seventh Stranger, which is on 7 and the Ragged Tiger. Okay. And I also love very, very much Careless Memories on the first album.
So I find it interesting that you didn't pick anything that was really
a hit.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, because I fucking love that band so much that...
But is it because everybody likes the other songs?
No.
So you want to pick something that's different?
No, not at all. No, not at all. Because if you look at my own personal Duran Duran best of list, I still have Planet Earth on it, and I still have Rio on it. The only song, oddly, that I do not have on my favorites of Duran Duran is Hungry Like the Wolf, which was the song that made me fall in love with them in the first place.
Yeah, I was going to say that was their first hit.
That was the very first
Or was
song.
It before? I thought...
That was their second album, but their first hit in the States.
Yeah, their first in the States.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And the first time I heard that song, I remember hearing it, and I was maybe like 13. I remember hearing that song late at night on a radio station that was like going out of, like we were getting out of range. We were like in the mountains in San Diego or something. And I heard the song and I'm like, what is that song? What is that song? And I obsessed. I was freaking out because I'd never heard it before. And I'd never had a song that made me freak out before. Are you going to blend?
I'm going to blend.
Ferris does not like the blending.
Did he run?
Ferris is not running.
No, he's just staring up here like, what?
He's got like full owl eyes.
He's like, what is that?
Yeah, but he's still here. Ferris is still here. Good job, Ferris. Pretty soon that'll be nothing to you. Now he's like, how can I get to where it is? He's looking at us like we're going to help him out. Can you put me up there? I want to see what's going on.
Okay, is this what you were guessing?
Is that like the chocolate thing? Is that the Milky Way?
Is this what you were guessing?
I can't tell. I can't tell in the light. I don't think so.
We'll probably have to share this one.
You have one each. You don't have to share.
Yeah, but I don't like creamy drinks usually.
Oh, you don't?
No,
Okay.
that's why we might have to
Well, then
share.
I'll
You
drink
might not
that
make
one.
one for yourself. Let me try it and see. Oh, and it's chocolate coffee. Bleh.
That's the Milky Way.
Yeah, see, I thought it was Milky Way. I'm like, if you made the Milky Way, you can have that because, in fact, I need water.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
I don't have any back here.
I
You're gonna
have
have
some
to.
in my purse. I'm just going to unclip. You guys, keep chatting.
I never had the Milky Way.
You didn't?
I've never had
Oh,
one.
let me see. Yeah, that's exactly how they make it.
I believe you.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
No.
No, it would be good if I liked those ingredients, but I'm not a chocolate or... Does it have coffee in it, too?
It has Kahlua.
Kahlua, yeah. See, I hate Kahlua.
You hate Kahlua?
Mm-hmm. Because I don't like coffee or chocolate. I don't like the taste of it at all.
Oh, didn't know that.
But for whatever weird reason, if I drink beer, I tend to drink really heavy dark beers. And guess what? They taste like coffee and chocolate.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me for some reason. But this stuff, ugh.
Yeah, I like Hefeweizen. I like the citrusy kind of taste in my beer. So
This is interesting.
You're a beer guy.
well, now you know. So you've never had one at the Tiki-Ti? Oh, that's surprising. What is the reason about that? Is it because you don't like creamy or chocolate or anything like that?
No, I like that stuff. I just, for some reason, it never grabbed. It never stuck out to me. I remember its place on the menu, I think, but I've never.
How long have you been going to Tiki-Ti?
90s.
Since the 90s? And when didn't you start going in the 90s as well?
90s, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to say that the truth is I don't remember if my first time there was 95 or 96. But when I put my card on the wall, I wrote 95.
I think when I did, I just put the date that I got the card.
Yeah.
I put the date that I got the card too, but we used to go there, and I say we because it was when I was in my 20s and I was clubbing with my friends, and we would go there and get tanked first because some of the clubs that we went to, like Diamond Club, like the bars
They were
in there
gross.
they just weren't very good.
Yeah.
You know, and you get a good drink at Tiki-Ti and they were strong, you know. So we would go to, geez, I can't remember what some of the names of these clubs were, but
they were crap clubs.
they were crap clubs.
You were just going there to just get shit-faced and meet chicks,
Florentine
right?
Gardens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Florentine Gardens was one of them. But that wasn't really one of the ones we thought was cool. That was one of the ones that it was like, well, got nothing else to do. You guys want to just go to Florentine Gardens? and it was one of those, when you would bring it up, people would be like, fuck you, I'm not going to that club, you know? And it's still there. Do you know it's still there? And I'm wondering, who goes there? Who goes to Florentine Gardens?
Maybe it's still people like you. Maybe it was people like you were then.
Yeah,
Maybe it's still
it's
random 20-somethings that wander in there because there's nothing else to do.
like
and they go in
nostalgic.
and make fun of it or something like that.
Like the people that go and see Lisa and
maybe it's
they
that.
go see Stevie B,
Yeah.
they're
Those
all
still go
my
to
age
freestyle
now, and they go to the freestyle shows. And
Well, I
then
was just thinking maybe it's 20-somethings that stumble in there because it's like a quaint dive bar now or something, or it's just a gross old club or something like that.
that's
when I lived in
interesting.
Silver Lake, they used
quaint
to be-
dive bar.
Yeah, yeah. Real dive bar is not quaint. There used to be when I lived in Silver Lake, where the Black Cat is now, that little restaurant. It was
A laundromat?
no. Well, there was the laundromat, but then there was that gay club. Remember that had the plastic kind of entryway. It had
Where
sort of
the
those,
Black Cat is?
yeah. So where the Black
it
Cat
Arena?
is. No. Arena's in the
Arena's
west
down-
side.
yeah.
No, this place I don't even remember. I always want to call it Spotlight, but that was the place in Hollywood. I can't remember what it was called, but it was kind of a place where if you were walking up and down Sunset, there was the laundromat, and then right next to it, and next to that is Rough Trade, which is a leather shop for basically...
Assless chaps.
Yeah. Or anyone who wants, Janet Jackson had a leather outfit made for
Why
her
do people
there.
call them assless chaps? Aren't all chaps assless?
Oh my God, you're right. Oh, you're totally right.
Right?
Huh.
When people say hot water heater. Well, if it's a water heater, the water's already hot.
But yeah, it was a gay club, and I remember because I lived a couple blocks away, 2 blocks up the street, and I'd walk down. I was always curious about it because it had not curtains. It was almost like plastic sheeting at the entry. And it was like ribbons, wide ribbons of plastic sheeting, and you had to part those to walk in. And it was painted like hot pink and black inside. And anytime you went in there were just like these sad old gays like sitting inside, and there was a disco ball, and the music was always bad, and it was there forever until they built the Black Cat just recently. And
Black Cat wasn't just recently. It's been there for...
Well, it's been there for a couple of years, yeah. Maybe like, 5 years or 4 years or something.
Something like that.
But the other place was there for like decades. So,
okay. All right.
So it is recently compared to that.
What's crazy to me is when Stephanie and I dated in college, we used to go to the Mayan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and people are still doing that.
Guess what? I saw Duran Duran at the Mayan.
Oh, did you really?
I did. I can bring everything back to Duran Duran eventually.
What year was that? So her favorite band was Depeche Mode.
Oh, they're great though.
Yeah, she was in love with Depeche Mode.
They're a great band. They're still a great band. Duran Duran, not such a great band these days.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean...
Well, Depeche Mode, they're still just as good as they were.
The last good Duran Duran album was All You Need Is Now, which was produced by Mark Ronson, who's the guy who made Amy Winehouse with that record. So I'm trying to remember when this record came out, the All You Need Is Now. Maybe like 2011 or something. And they did a show at the Mayan. Duran Duran did a show at the Mayan. And it was directed by David Lynch. Because the American Express, I think, was doing this thing where they'd get some band, and then they'd have some arty director direct it, and you'd go there and you'd see the show, but then it was live broadcast on YouTube or something with the director's special touches and flourishes and overlays and stuff. So I actually never saw that version of it, but I saw clips of it from time to time on YouTube, and it had like weird images on Simon Le Bon's face or something like that. But they had really cool guests, and it was at the Mayan. It was an awesome show. And I had food poisoning that week because I'd been at South by Southwest. I got food poisoning when I came back, and I went to that show like the day after I'd hauled myself out of the bathroom from like puking for a day. My best friend was like, "Are you sure you can go?" And I'm all, "It's Duran Duran at the Mayan. I will be there." I'm like, "I'm going."
If they only knew what their fans sacrificed to go see them,
I know.
Right?
Well, I met John Taylor. I've met John Taylor like 3 times.
Did he remember?
John Taylor was the tall bass player. He was my guy. I guess I like him tall and skinny.
Wasn't he like he was the hot one with the brown?
The hat. He's the guy that wore the hat.
That wore the hat. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I was 14, I had a John Taylor fedora that I got from JCPenney's. Yeah, I was in. I was fully in.
So
he was very nice.
Since you ask people on your podcast about their musical taste, and no one has ever asked you on your podcast, or have they?
Well, I guess since we're having conversations about my podcast.
So you also talk about it.
So I talk about it, but usually I'm talking about theirs, I guess.
Right? You talk about what your guest likes, right? Yeah. So I can ask you on my podcast.
Oh, hey.
So what kind of music did you listen to during that era in the 80s? What was your thing?
I grew up in San Diego, and I actually had this conversation with Doc Parks from Pagan Idol. Okay. He and I talked about it because he grew up in San Diego as well. He's younger than me, but he grew up in San Diego, and we both grew up with kind of similar musical upbringings in that. Like the station I grew up listening to was 91X, which is, the K-Rock down there. But when it first launched, I feel like it launched like 81 or 82. When it launched, it was playing Tom Petty, the B-52s, Led Zeppelin, The Cure. I mean, it played all that stuff. Motley Crue. I mean, I heard Def Leppard on that station, and then right after that, it would play like Thomas Dolby. So there was so much that was getting played on that station. And then the metal station was KGB. But KGB was the station I first heard Duran Duran on. But, they were the ones that played more of the classic rock kind of stuff. Right. So we grew up with that stuff. Plus we live in San Diego, so we've got like, all kinds of Mexican music all over the place. And there was a strong mod community down there. So we heard all kinds of like ska, old school ska. Yeah. So I felt like I grew up listening to everything. Plus my dad was into like folk music and comedy stuff. My mom was listening to Colombian music and outlaw country. That was her music of choice. And
outlaw
opera.
Country.
My mom was really into outlaw country. I think it's because she's from Colombia.
What's outlaw country?
You can go into that one. No, Stephen, that's.
I'm assuming that they don't sing about that. The only thing they can depend on is their truck And their only faithful partner is their dog.
Cash Haggard, Johnny Paycheck.
Okay.
All those ones that didn't give a shit and wrote about whatever.
Mm-hmm. See, when you say that, I kind of think that there's a little crossover into rockabilly with that.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Never thought about that.
No.
Well, like rockabilly country, I should say.
Steven's our country guy here.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up with outlaw, but...
I don't know that much.
No, you can talk about outlaw stuff. Do it.
Yeah, no.
He's like, nope, not
Those
rockabilly.
guys, that's it. Those are all the ones Waylon Jennings, all of them. I mean, for the classic guys back then.
Yeah.
That wrote about getting fucked
what-
up and didn't care about getting in the Grand Ole Opry and all that and following all the rules. Loretta Lynn,
Loretta Lynn was pretty outlaw.
she's outlaw. And I'm sure there's a slew of others.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, what
I'm
was
getting
the-
it. I'm getting it when you start saying the names.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it's mostly associated with the 70s, really. I think late 60s, 70s to early 80s. There's still outlaw country out there, but that's like that was the period of time where...
What about Alabama? What about Kenny
Just the biggest outlaws I've ever met in my life.
What about Kenny Rogers?
He was just a gambler.
He was a gambler. He was a gambler. Does that make him an outlaw? He knew when to hold him. He knew when to fold him.
That's awesome.
There was a kind of thing in the 80s with the whole country movement, right?
That was when the Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah, Devil Went Down to Georgia, Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, there was a thing going
and
on
Dukes
there.
of Hazzard, that was narrated by...
Waylon Jennings.
That was Waylon.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely definitely a thing.
Of course, there's probably like 10 names I can't remember right now.
Of course, because you're on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't remember nothing.
But there's tons more. Those are really like the pioneers. They're really the ones. Everybody else is kind of... Even when people do new outlaw style country, it's more like... I don't even know that it's considered outlaw so much.
Is there new outlaw?
Yeah, I mean, there's guys that are doing stuff that's kind of based on, what those guys did before.
Okay.
And trying not to follow the mainstream and all that stuff. And
I think it's kind of more an
maybe not trying to be politically correct all the time and all that kind of shit, so...
Are they like the gangster rappers of country?
I think the gangster rappers of country were like the old guys, like Merle Haggard and Paycheck and all those guys, because they did the craziest stuff ever. There's a really cool show on Showtime or something called Tales from the Bus or something that Mike Judge did.
Oh, okay. I think I heard something
Tales
about that.
from a Tour Bus or something
like that. Yeah.
But it'll be, I don't know if it's half animated, half not, or what have you, but it's stories of those guys and some of the crazy tour stories and just crazy shit that they did. And one of them was, I think it was Merle Haggard and George Jones.
George Jones.
And George would get really fucked up.
Yeah.
So Merle Haggard tied him to a tree.
Merle Haggard tied George Jones to a tree?
Yeah, to his tree in his yard because he was acting up.
Wow.
And George was like, I'm the best goddamn country singer in the world. I was like, yep, and you're tied to a fucking tree. And went inside and went to bed.
And just left him tied to a tree all night?
This is how they did their diss tracks. Just tied him to a tree.
They just did it in real life.
Right?
I'm going to strap you to the top of a bus, boy. There's also a really great podcast that we're talking about. Music podcast, kind of, called...
David Allan Coe. He was another one.
Oh, David Allan Coe. And everybody knows David Allan Coe to some respect because he sang Take the Job and Shove It?
Yep.
That was David Allan Coe.
Okay.
And what's the big Johnny Paycheck song that everybody knows?
Don't remember.
Oh, there's one big one. But yeah, there's and that's... You remember David Allan Coe because this podcast is hosted by David Allan Coe's son. I think his name is Tyler Coe.
Yeah, it'll do.
And it's called Cocaine and Rhinestones. And it's like a really great history of country music. All the scandals. It's like the Hollywood Babylon of country music, except this guy grew up in...
Yeah, he grew up in the thick of it.
With it.
Yeah.
So, and he does meticulous research on all these things. So he's got some that go way back, like this old school country singer that murdered his wife. And the whole scandal that came around this, or one country singer who was the king of Western swing and how he shot the guy that booked the Grand Ole Opry.
Wow.
It's stuff like that. And one of them, and he's actually very, he did a whole episode on the song Harper Valley PTA, which was very liberal ahead of its time. It was very a woman singing, And the song was about a woman whose daughter was getting shit from people at her school because her mom wore miniskirts, and it was a single mom. So the mom shows up at the PTA meeting and calls everybody out on their shit. She's like, yeah, you drink gin and we can smell on your breath all the time. You've been stepping out with so-and-so. You've been doing this. So you're going to come after me for wearing a miniskirt? And the song came out like in the early 70s or something, and it was like huge. It became like a TV show, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But he writes about it, and he's like, it's embarrassing how few number one country songs by women there were up until like the mid 80s or something, because women in the country scene were just pushed aside.
Right.
It's fascinating. It's all great stuff. Cocaine and Rhinestones.
Wow.
It's a great podcast.
Okay.
A lot of
stuff. A lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
Country music is very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I heard that stuff too, and then my whole family was brought up on ABBA and musicals, Broadway musicals. So
Sydney loves ABBA.
Well, what's not to love?
And she loves... Well, so it's weird because like she'll play stuff on her playlist. A lot of it's from the 70s and 80s, you know. ELO is another one that she likes.
Oh, really? So she likes harmonies.
Yeah, she likes...
She listened to like harmonies and melodies and stuff, because those are all just beautiful harmonies.
Yeah.
My brother just saw ELO, and he posted this funny video from it, and he was like, I couldn't really see so well because there was this grandma in front of me dancing the whole time, but she was dancing her ass off, so I couldn't really get upset. And he had video, and it was some like old lady with this like pink fro, and pink was because it was so gray and it was lit by the light, and ELO is playing, and she's just like rocking out in her like, I don't know, sweater vest or something. It was kind of amazing.
What's crazy is that, you know, I was in... The 80s was really the decade that I grew up, so I was in junior high, high school, and college all through the 80s. And the music that my father listened to, which was 20 or 30 years previous, seemed like such old music to me, which today, it would be like listening to stuff from the 90s, right? Because like Nirvana was like 25 years ago, right? Totally. And that doesn't seem like so far away.
No.
You know?
You think about like my favorite Cure album or my Duran Duran album, you know, it's like Rio came out in 1982.
That's crazy.
92, 2002, 2012.
That's 36.
All, it's like,
36 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Insane.
It's insane.
To me, that's insane. But, you know, at my bar, I can bring up the bar. At my bar, I was there a couple Fridays ago, and we had thrown together like a video playlist so the music was coming through. And Green Day came on, and we had a bunch of 20-somethings in the bar, where it's Friday night in Little Tokyo, and it was our first Friday night we were open, and I'm like, I'm curious to see what the crowd's going to be like, everything in here. A bunch of 20-somethings. Somebody was having a birthday, and they stumbled in there. And we were at capacity, so our capacity is 45 people. Doesn't need much. But it was full in there. And we've got the videos going, and Green Day came on. Do you have the time to listen to me whine? That song came on. The entire bar burst into song. Everybody was singing that song. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. And I turned to look at my partner, and I was just like, holy fuck, what's happening right now? Like, this whole bar is singing. And this record came out in like 1992 or something. Yeah. Right? 92 or 93. And the video's on, and they're all just like, boom, 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 singing. It's all a bunch of 20-somethings. And I'm all, this song is from before these kids were born. Most likely. Yeah. Maybe they were very, very young. And so it's kind of weird. I'm like, were we in some bar singing Chantilly Lace if it came on the speakers? No. Because when we were young, we're just like, no, I just want to hear Susie and the Banshees right now. You know, or something.
Who's the band? I think is it Panic at the Disco?
Yeah.
That plays Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
They play it before every show.
He's very theatrical, so that would make sense.
Well, they don't perform it. They just play it while the stage is getting set up. And the crowd completely gets into it.
That same night, two people that were sitting behind me, Bohemian Rhapsody came on, and I look back and they're like video recording. They're videoing themselves on their phones singing along to Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah. And people go crazy. But that song, the whole crowd went crazy. That song's different level, though.
It is different level.
It's like a pop culture kind of song. It is. It's like Dancing Queen or something. It's so outside.
I think it transcends Dancing Queen too.
Well, no, I mean,
the thing about that song is it's just so. It's so out of the box too. Mm-hmm. You know, considering that it came from a rock band and.
Wayne's World.
And there's Wayne's World.
Well, Wayne's World gave it a second life.
It gave it the life it has now. Because when it hits the rock part, everybody starts thrashing like they do in
Yes, you're right.
I don't know anything about that.
But when it
we have video of Steven doing that with our friend Brian. That's why he's like, I don't know anything about that. That's somewhere.
When it came out on Wayne's World, it was a song that I remembered from my youth, and I thought, you know, why are they playing this?
And it was perfect.
But it was perfect.
It was perfect.
And you're right. Now it's the way that it is because of Wayne's World.
Because of Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Because it had that moment where these people were just rocking out in their car. And who hasn't rocked out in their car? You've rocked out in your car, you know? And so there's this moment where there are these guys and they're in the car and they're singing along the song, and then it hits that point and they're rocking out in their car, and everybody just relates to that, is so excited and happy and is rocking out with them because we've all been there. And then that song took on this whole like joyous thing, you know, to it. Doesn't matter that it's completely weird.
Right.
And no one knows what it's about. And it's just goofy and strange. And everyone just jumped on board and is just having fun with it.
Right.
What's your rock out song? Okay. Oh, you and I, the first time we rocked out in the car, Stephen and I actually have done a lot of car singing.
Car singing.
And house singing.
The Fugazi night?
It was Fugazi with you and your friend Greg.
Yeah, that was good.
Sorry
about the dashboard.
What's your music, Stephen?
God, everything.
You tell me about that while I make our... What drink are we on now?
Well,
Not County of Shouts. We had
did the daiquiri, and then there was
the Milky Way, and then we had shot of mezcal.
I'm fine because I didn't really drink any of the Milky Way, so.
And Stephen had also.
He had the rum,
the El Dorado.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure.
Are you drinking? Should we have one more?
Yeah, you keep
So,
going.
do you want another one?
Yeah, totally. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm not even buzzed.
Okay, good.
I feel like it's like a fail. I'm in the Disney Oasis room. I should at least have a buzz going, right?
No, you don't have to. Steph's in here all the time. She never gets buzzed.
That's true. Don't you be comparing to me your actual wife. Your bar wife. I have a completely different set of standards.
That's right. That's right.
I like how where was it? Was it we were at Tiki-Ti last time? And we walked up there and you introduced me to someone. Oh, this is my bar wife. And then you grabbed Steven and you're like, this is my bar husband.
Oh, and then of course Mo was like, whoa, how'd you get that title? This episode was brought to you in part by the Tiki-Ti, a family-owned and operated tropical drink bar in Los Angeles, California. Come get their house specialty, the Raised Mistake, for only $6 on Wednesdays until 9 p.m. For more information, check out their website, tiki-ti.com. This episode was also brought to you by Steadfast Pomade, a strong-holding, medium-bodied styling product for men and women which leaves your hair looking neat and shiny with a clean, fresh scent. Order yours today at steadfastpomade.com.
I introduced Steven the other day. He met some of my friends from high school.
Okay.
They were all at my bar downtown. It was last Wednesday. We went down.
I remember that. I remember.
And we walked in there. My best friend was sitting there, and he hadn't met my best friend yet, who is also my ex-husband.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And that's a whole story.
Yeah. Because I am not best friends with my ex-wife. I'll tell you that much.
It's a joke. I'm making a joke.
No, finish it.
Okay. He wants to tell the story. So, the thing with my ex-husband actually is my best friend since I was like 13 years old.
Okay.
And we got married as a theme party, but we had to actually legally get married because we decided we used to have theme parties every 6 months when we were in college.
Okay.
He was at UCLA, I was at UC Berkeley. And we'd have these big elaborate theme parties, and we were like, it would be a great theme party. What? Well, Vegas wedding. And we both were like, that would be rad. We'll do a Vegas wedding like with Elvis and everything. That would be so cool. So we did it. And we called and we made the reservation that you have to bring your license. And we're like, oh, can we just do it? Do we actually have to do the license? And then I called first and they got really mad. No, don't you know, marriage is a holy bond between people.
It's a sacred,
people. Sacred
I got
this.
a picture. You want me to show them the picture?
The picture? Oh, you have the picture on your phone of our wedding?
Yeah.
And we were just like...
Steven was there?
No, I sent him a
didn't know
picture. I sent him a picture recently because he met my best friend.
Wait a second.
And I was like, yeah, this was in 1992. So we're like,
well, he made it sound like he was there.
I know, totally.
Should I show him the picture?
I have a picture on my phone when you got married in 1992 in Vegas at the Grayson Wedding Show. So we actually legally got married so that we could have this party. And our wedding also served as his coming out party to most of our friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we joked around that in that first year that we only were married for a year, and then we got divorced, and then we had a big divorce party. And our divorce party... our divorce party was actually a luau in Silver Lake.
Oh, how fun.
That's what we had. We had a cake that was painted red, or the cake had red frosting, and we had a tombstone on it that said R.I.P. next to a bride and groom. So that was fun. But the year that we were married, we both actually got awesome boyfriends that we're still friends with. And so then we divorced, and we were single for a very long time, and we were like, God, do we have to get married again to meet a good guy?
Well,
what's the deal?
So tell me more about this marriage thing, because were you...
This is a picture of the wedding.
Oh, how funny.
So my best friend rented a gold lame suit.
It's Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Did you guys actually live as a married couple, or it was just for the party?
Just for the party, but we had a license. I have a marriage certificate, and if you're friends on Facebook, if you go into my Facebook photo albums, I have one that's called My Married Year, and there's a couple pictures from the wedding, and a copy of the marriage certificate and a copy of the divorce papers.
That's
signed
hilarious.
Divorce papers. We scanned them and put them in there. We did that for what would have been our 20th anniversary. No, our 25th anniversary was in 2017. We were like, we should have done something for the 25th anniversary. We realized it was coming up. Yeah, it was totally funny.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so as a joke, when Steven and I met my friends, I introduced him to my ex-husband. I said, oh, this is my ex-husband. This is my next husband. No pressure.
My ex-husband, my next husband.
It just worked so nicely. I kind of had to say it. It was pretty funny, though. All my friends were like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, you saw how well that worked out for me the first time. He
That's
went
hilarious.
gay on me and everything.
I'm trying to open this without this thing flaring up. I don't know, why is it doing this?
Oh my god. Oh, I think you got it.
There it goes.
That was intimidating.
What kind of mineral water is that? Oh, it's mineral agua.
Mineral agua.
Yeah. It's Latin. We're feisty.
I guess.
It's extra bubbly.
It's just been sitting there, you know? That's what's kind of...
But we were asking Steven a question, weren't we?
His music.
It's your music.
Oh, everything. Well, through the skateboarding years, it was all punk rock and all that.
All right, I'm turning this on. Hang on. When I put the microphone right up against that. All right, we're listening. We're listening. Punk rock years.
Yeah, there was all the punk rock years, Misfits, everything. But I was also... My first record was Journey. The second one was Men at Work. Then I was a Motley Crue head. And then there was really bad music on the radio.
And you were
all
in
the top
Detroit.
40 crap and everything. I'd listen to all that junk. And
so being from Detroit, were you Kiss or anti-Kiss?
Kiss, when I was super little, I'd listen to Kiss because they'd scare the shit out of me in my basement. So I'd go down there, turn off all the lights, and put on their record and just freak myself out and run upstairs.
As a kid, I loved Kiss. Yeah. And then as I started to grow, I remember being in 5th or 6th grade, and my friends thinking oh, you listen to Kiss. So it wasn't cool to Kiss anymore, right? When you were that age. So by junior high, man, you couldn't be listening to Kiss.
I didn't listen to Kiss in junior high, I don't think.
No, I'm sure you're over it by then. Because that would have been, by the time we were all in high school, and you're a little younger than us, by the time we were in high school, that was all new wavy stuff and everything.
Yeah, because I hung out with all the punkers and skaters and stuff back there. So they had listened to all the stuff that I never heard on the radio. There wasn't a radio station yet for that stuff.
But
it didn't come out
Detroit,
until later.
So it was didn't you have
Detroit Rock City. That's why I was asking about
Detroit
Kiss.
Rock City, but also Motown.
Oh.
I mean, I know that's older.
There was always Motown.
But what's the legacy?
I didn't listen to it when I was little.
Think about Motown.
Don't get him started on Aretha Franklin.
Okay, then I won't. I was about to ask, why? What about Aretha Franklin?
I don't know. Her son used to beat up his friends or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you shouldn't put that shit on there.
You think her Gestapo will come for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was pretty gangster, from what I heard.
But no, it was everything, man. Cheesy stuff, and then I found out about all the cool stuff. But then the older I got, the more I started liking country and whatnot, because I used to sing that with my mom when I was little.
Oh, interesting.
And so then I just started liking everything, classical, jazz.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah, when I first started hanging out with him, we listened to a lot of jazz.
And even, all the...
Cheers.
This is the blood punch.
I was going to say, this is the blood punch, huh?
I saved it for last.
So this is your Fascinola?
Oh, that's lovely.
That one's so good. I love this drink.
So do I.
But you're leaving out your wiki whack days.
Oh, house music and techno and all that I really got into. I was doing that and messed around with DJ and that stuff for a while.
You're like DJ. You're so... Talk yourself up. Come on.
No, man.
He's like, no.
So modest.
Yeah.
He is. He's being all mellow. Because that was another thing we kind of bonded on. Because in the early 90s, I used to DJ at raves. Like in San Francisco.
Oh,
but like
very nice.
littler raves, small. When they started getting all carnival and stuff, I was like, ooh, what's happening here? It was more like when it was really small and people were just really high on drugs and like, this music is amazing, and just doing as much ecstasy as possible.
The first time I ever went to Kelbo's was at After Hours clubs.
Oh, really? They used to have them at Kelbo's?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. The first time I ever did X was at After Hours clubs.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of
so
when
when
you
you
did
said
them.
X.
I was
That's what
whacked
I
out
did.
on all sorts of stuff.
I loved
it. I remember dancing around all this bamboo. I was like, this place is amazing. But I had no fucking idea where I was.
I loved the X, man. I loved the X.
Oh, so fun.
It was so
Super
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, my
I feel so
God.
old. I used to do so much ecstasy.
Well, it's funny
Every
because like,
weekend I'd be like, dancing. Oh, your arm feels nice.
yeah, it feels so good, right?
I'm like, oh, you have such wonderful hair. The music's so nice.
There were times, I mean, it hasn't happened in years, but there were times in my adult life where I thought, God, I could use that feeling again.
Oh, God.
right
Yeah,
now.
we've talked about that a lot.
And that's like, I don't know anybody who can hook me up with that anymore, but
I'm working on
and
it.
I'm probably too old, but
I'm working
He's
on
on a little nostalgia trip over here. He's like, I think I can get us some. I'm like, oh my God, what would happen to us if we did that?
Do you guys
at
remember
this
something
age?
called GHB?
yeah.
Those club
totally.
days?
Yeah.
I would just float across that fucking dance floor for like 6 hours on that shit.
Well, I remember my gay friends with their whole K, special K.
Special K, yeah.
Yeah, they'd do the special K and they'd be like, oh, like Jefferson's stuck in a K-hole right now. We're like, oh, better leave him alone then. He's just like, oh, trap.
K-hole.
And just like in the zone. They're like, can't talk to anybody, can't look at anything. It's like, okay.
I just remember,
shouted
like,
all that into the microphone.
I just remember doing the X and just being like euphoric, man. Like
Totally.
it was good.
I chewed a lot of gum. A lot of gum. But yeah, I used to DJ some of that stuff, and then I was like having too much fun with my friends, so I wasn't DJing as much. But he was telling me that he knew Inner Life, which is one of those bands.
Oh, I had some friends that played in Inner City.
Inner City, that's what it is.
Oh,
I'm
Inner
thinking
City.
Good Life, Inner City, because they sang that Good Life song. Remember that song?
So it was
Good
kind
life,
of cool.
good life, good life, good life. That's like all.
I was thinking Inner Circle. A la
Yeah.
la 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 long.
Yeah.
A la 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 long,
Totally. You
long,
would.
long, long.
You would go reggae.
Come on. It's
I was
all
thinking
reggae for me.
Gatehouse.
But yeah, it was cool, man. You got to meet some cool people.
Yeah, and you were in Detroit. That was like the epicenter of that stuff at that time. So that's super exciting.
God, I'm trying to recall history here. I'll get it all wrong, but
Well, there was Chicago and
there was some
Detroit.
shit before me. Well, Detroit was known as techno, and then Chicago was house. But it all kind of filtered together, I think, a little bit here and there.
Oh yeah, totally.
But yeah, it was pretty cool.
But that's where that stuff came from. I mean, I think the Detroit techno stuff started like what, in the 80s? More so like, or was it 70s even? Could have been a little bit.
Maybe 80s. Kraftwerk started that shit.
See, I was thinking
yeah.
80s.
Well, with that techno, they were doing like
Late
electronic
70s and
music.
80s, and I think
There was all kinds of electronic music in the late 70s and everything, but I mean that techno, as we know of techno, like that kind of militaristic, marchy kind of stuff, that was Detroit. I think it was 80s.
Right.
It was definitely 80s because the rave thing was already started by like 89.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was
When were you doing all your hip hop stuff too?
That was in the 80s.
And
Yeah.
we have to save some of that for my podcast.
We'll save it. I can save it for Mo's.
Because basically I guess we haven't even said that we're doing a swapcast.
So for our listeners out there that haven't figured it out,
it's funny.
Tonight we're recording a swapcast. Well, technically, what we're doing is we're guesting on each other's shows because a swapcast is where we take the same audio file and we share it over both our shows.
Totally.
But what we're doing is we are going to be guesting on each other's shows tonight. I haven't recorded with Mo yet, but I had eaten a lovely dinner that Mo prepared for me and my family, and it was great Colombian food.
That's why we're not buzzed, is because that Colombian food is way too hearty, man.
I'm like, I've had a shot and 3 drinks already, and I'm
nothing.
Stone cold sober.
I know,
right?
It's starting to bother me.
Steven's had 2 shots. He's had 2 shots. 2 shots and 3 cocktails. And we are stone cold sober. What is wrong?
Colombian food, it's way potent, man. Totally potent.
It's that cheese bread.
I made you guys pan de bono.
That bread, man.
Lentils.
Is that what you call it?
Pan de bono. There's a Brazilian version called pan de queijo, which makes more sense.
Cheese bread.
But they usually sell those in these tiny little, like, you can get them like at a street vendor, and they'll be the size of like a small lime or something like that, and they're pan de queijo, and you pay $1 and you get like a dozen of them, and you just pop them.
Oh, nice.
They're really small, and you just pop in your mouth and they're gone. Whereas I made kind of a little bit bigger rolls, but they fill you up, dude.
So I want to do a cheese bread crawl.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that.
I want to do cheese bread crawl. And I can tell you right now, Sizzler's going to be a stop. And who's the one with the I think it's Wood Ranch Barbecue, with the cheesy bread that they give you a honey dip sauce?
I have no idea. No idea.
They're like biscuits with cheese in them.
I think it's very brave.
And then there's a butter and honey sauce that you spread onto it.
That sounds
and
amazing.
It
sounds so amazing. See,
it's crazy good.
Because I'm getting more vain as I get older. I've cut out bread mostly. I'm trying to cut out the carbs. But if I go out to eat and there's bread there, I'm like, we were at Tex the other night, and they're like, would you like bread? I'm like, yes.
It's hard to say no, right?
Bring me bread and butter, because I don't own bread at home. I never have bread at home, and do all that stuff.
It's that example, like I told you, my parents, it's really my mother, who didn't let us have any kind of sweets in the house. So there was no cookies, there was no sodas, none of that kind of stuff growing up. So as soon as I was out of the house and I was doing my own grocery shopping, I loaded up with a bunch of stuff that I was never allowed to have.
My thing, that when I left the house, we didn't have sweets in my house because my mom was super athletic, ballerina, aerobics, all that. So we didn't have that around the house. But
gnarly feet,
dancers, gnarly feet. Yep. Yeah. And when I was out, I remember the thing I indulged in the most was having real butter instead of margarine.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with margarine, and I used to babysit a lot, as teenage girls do. And I'd make popcorn for myself when the kids went to bed, because I'm a total popcorn whore. I eat popcorn constantly. Like, I'll go through things where I eat popcorn every day for like a month. I absolutely love popcorn. And I remember I'd make myself some popcorn and put butter on it. At my house, we put margarine on it, but I was there and I put butter on it because I thought they were all the same thing. And I'm like, wow, why is their butter so much better than the butter we have at home?
Because it's real.
Realize it was different.
It's real.
But I remember this one house where I babysat very often. They froze their butter, and then they just bought in bulk, I guess, and then froze it and moved it to the fridge when they were ready to use it. So
could you spread it?
Well, I mean, by the time I got there, I just would look in the freezer and I'd see butter in the freezer.
I'm sorry, I just realized how dirty that question was. He was like shaking his head at me.
Edit it and be like, could you spread it? Listen to this episode.
No, I'm not talking about butter.
Wait, what? Huh, parquet.
There was a time when Stephanie's parents lived with us for a few months when they were transitioning through retirement. And her mom would go and buy things at the grocery store, and one of the things she'd buy all the time was stick butter. And I used to think, who still buys stick butter, right? Because we buy the tub that it just spreads onto bread so easily.
I only buy stick.
Do you really?
Yeah.
So you're one of those that buys stick butter?
But I don't make toast.
What do you use it for then?
So popcorn.
Cooking? Okay.
Yeah, cooking, popcorn. If I used to make waffles. If I do waffles, I actually just slice it really thin and lay it on top, and it just melts.
Yeah.
So, and actually, back in the day when I did do toast, that's what I would do with that too. I'd slice the butter really thin, and then lay it on there. I'd lay it completely across, and it would just evenly melt. Because I'm borderline OCD. That kind of thing totally works with me.
What's your trick with hotel butter? Like when you go to a wedding and they serve...
I sit on it. I'm not kidding. If we go somewhere
and then they serve that butter that's like, it's like super hard.
Cold.
Yeah.
Well, if it's wrapped, I will sit on it. I'll hold it in my hand, or I'll put it under my thigh if it's still wrapped in the little foil. because that'll warm it up and then it's spreadable. But if it's like super frozen, it's a frozen ball or something.
Grease spot is on the back of it. Mo, have you been sitting on butter again?
That's like a thing. What is it called? I think it's called like splooshing or something.
Is it really? There's a term for that? Sitting on butter?
It's just sitting on food. But it's sitting on food for someone else's pleasure.
I remember
videos and
Jesus,
stuff.
really?
I remember watching this. I know, dude.
So
there's a fetish for everything.
So innocent.
There's a fetish for everything.
That's amazing.
We needed to get him more liquored up because
I know.
he's just not talking enough.
It's a little bit quiet.
He's like, did you ever see that episode of Friends when Monica was dating Fun Bobby?
Yeah, he was only fun when he was wasted.
Right. He was only fun when he was drunk.
And then if he was really sorry, he's just like... Didn't say a
I'm going to start
word.
calling him Fun Steven.
Fun Stevie. We're like, quick, get him more booze.
Right.
We'll get lively. Well, this is good because so many people just see you drunk. Well, the Tiki-Ti crowd anyway. I remember hearing Romero Liz saying really sweet things about him. She was like, but I don't know if I've ever seen him when he's not smashed.
Right.
I'm at a tiki bar. I'm at places where that is...
Part of the deal. It is true.
There was one time, it was a holiday party or something, and I was either drinking a beer or a cocktail or something. My mom says to me, wow, I don't think I've ever seen you drink before. And I said, Mom, I've been drunk a lot of times. She goes, oh, I'm not saying I've never seen you drunk. She said, I just don't think I've ever seen you get there. I was like, oh, all right. Interesting observation, Mom.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I remember we have these family friends in San Diego, and I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago. Well, it must have been after my mom passed, or right before my mom got sick. So this would have been like 12 years ago or something. We went to their house for Christmas Eve, and we had only just started doing that. Went over there, and the patriarch of the family, Joe Cordova, a Mexican family, he was like, Monica. Oh, now everyone knows my full name. Monica.
It's not Moesha.
Yeah, it's Mofuica. What was that one?
Mofuica's name?
What was my
Mo money, mo money, mo money.
It's that too. Yeah. Or Gimme Mo. That's one I get a lot. Mo Betta I get too. But we went over there, and Joe, the patriarch, was, Monica, would you like some tequila? And I was like, yeah, I would, because he was always bringing it back from his village in Mexico. And that was the first, I would drink mezcal with him. And the first time I had Bacanora, which I brought up with George. Bacanora is another agave spirit, which has only been legal in this country for a couple of years. So he used to bring it back in tequila bottles that he would get resealed, this guy. So I'd drink Bacanora with him when I was in San Diego. But I remember at some point, I'd go over there, and Joe would always be like, oh, she's coming. Yay, I've got someone to drink tequila with. And at some point, my dad turned, he's like, when did you get into tequila? When did you start? And I was like, you really don't want me to tell you about my Tijuana high school days.
Okay, who's driving?
He's driving.
Oh, I love how you're pointing at each other.
I'm driving.
Are you driving?
Yeah.
All right, I'll top this one off.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, he wants to feel the buzz.
Well, like when I used to go down to Mexico and they would do the tequila popper thing on you.
That was terrible.
I never got buzzed from that. No. They watered all that down.
Oh, yeah, totally. I would just buy shots of tequila and just drink that. I'd be like dancing on bar tops. I was 16 years old in red high heels, dancing on bar tops for tequila. It was super fun.
I went down there more for that than for the tequila.
Yeah. Well, now that Revolucion and all that Tijuana is all a thing. It's like fancy.
You mean it wasn't before?
Grown-ups. No, before it was when it was a thing. When we were kids, when it was a thing, it was like where you went down and got wasted.
Right.
And now it's like really nice restaurants and great bars.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, not at all.
I haven't been down there since then.
Not at all. I haven't been down there in ages, but my friends that I used to go and keep from getting arrested for pissing on the side of a wall,
right?
Those friends are now going down there for like very fancy meals.
Like something sophisticated.
It's totally grown
They
up
invented
stuff.
the Caesar salad down there. Did you know that?
In Tijuana.
Was it Tijuana?
I thought it was in Rosarito or Ensenada.
I knew it was in Mexico. I thought it was in Mexico City or something. I know it was in Tijuana.
No, it's in Baja. I didn't think it was Tijuana, though.
I think so.
No, I'll have to look that up.
I have the book, Classic Dining by
so it's
by Pete Maruzzi. It's in there.
And it's the birthplaces of a lot of these classic
Yeah,
dishes.
I mean, he talks about Lowry's and all that stuff.
I might have that book. Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a good book, yeah.
Oh.
It does talk about that in there. Nice. It just shows you how, I mean, like I did read it, I just don't remember it, but I think you're right.
Oh, Tijuana.
I've been there since 2000.
Tijuana? Gosh, it's probably been longer for me, honestly.
I was in Tijuana. Yeah, it's probably been the same. I used to go down to Rosarito a lot in my 20s.
I used to go to all those places a lot.
And the only time I would be in Tijuana was to drive through to get to Rosarito. So, because Rosarito was fun.
Yeah, because Tijuana is like a half hour from my dad's house.
Right.
So, it was like nothing. It's border right there. But they do, so now the next one's going to be in October. I have the flyer for it, actually. They do, once a year, they do a tequila mezcal festival on Revolucion. And it's like vendors, everything, they go out and they just line it all up and samples and food.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's cool. A thing.
Do all the gringos go down there for that?
Yeah. Gringos and non-gringos.
Wow.
It's
okay. So I was curious if it was just a local thing. So no. All right.
Well, I mean, I don't know if people come from all over to go to it, but I know a lot of San Diego people who go. That's how I found out about it. Was my San Diego friends again that I kept out of jail sometimes, or kept from giving too much money up at the strip bars.
We used to say that all the time when we'd go down there. We'd go down as a group and we'd say, someone got separated before we leave, we check the jail.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, there was someone in there, have to bail them out.
Well, it was sketchy being down there.
Yeah, when you were there in 2000. I don't think it wasn't druggy dangerous yet in 2000.
Not then, no.
No, it was more mid-2000s.
Depends on what you were getting into. It was.
Yeah, at that time it was still like, Club MTV, Spring Break era.
Totally. What were you getting into, Steven?
All sorts of bad stuff.
Well, now we want to start.
Elvis got me across the border, though. Back home.
Elvis got you back home?
Mm-hmm.
The Elvis?
I feel like you need to tell this story from the beginning.
Because I lost my ID at a strip bar, and we couldn't find it in the alley, which we shouldn't have done trying to find anyway. But I bought a Velvet Elvis painting.
Oh. Is that? I love how he lost his ID in a strip bar, and they thought, let's go out in the alley and look for it.
There's so many blanks you could fill in.
Right?
Just on those.
Okay, wait a second. Back up. You lost it in a strip bar. Why are you out in the alley looking for it?
So by the time I get to the border...
where did the Velvet Elvis come from? It just appeared magically?
I'm glad we've had the STD talk already.
By the time I get to the border, I have no ID, nothing. And we look horrible.
Nothing but a Velvet Elvis.
And so I get up there.
The Velvis, as we used to call them.
See Border Patrol, and I'm just like... smiling with my Elvis, and they're like, oh, just go through. So I got through.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I still have that painting.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Have I noticed it?
He's crying. It's crying Elvis.
Well, okay. See, and this is the thing that we always would debate. Is he crying or is he sweating?
Oh, it was a tear.
Because they paint it to look like a tear, but it's Fat Elvis. So it easily could just be sweat as well. Oh, it was just something.
This is one of those where it's subject to interpretation.
It's true.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And this always came up when we would talk about people's various
and that's what makes that
Elvises that were out.
That's what makes that painting interesting,
right? And timeless. It's always a
it got me back to the.
Because there's a guy.
Just got you back across the border. That's
there's a guy
impressive.
inside that man that wants to get out and wants to be free.
Like, what was the big? If I can dream. That's the big Elvis song. So that's what he wanted.
Wasn't that Celine Dion?
No, that was the song that he ended the comeback special with. He did the whole comeback special, and then he came back and he did one last song in a white jumpsuit. It was when he first started doing the white stuff. They added it on at the end because he really wanted to do it. And if it was If I Can Dream, which all I can remember right now is that If I Can Dream, but it's this like... And the children, it's one of those songs. It's like big and ridiculous and everything, but people just went, yeah, because that was kind of the first time that he did that. And then that sort of became his.
At an old job that I had once, we had this, Halloween was coming around and the department wanted to do a themed costume thing. And so people were dressing up. The theme was kings. So someone came as Yul Brynner from The King and I.
Nice.
Someone came as King Kong. Someone came as King Tut. And
then everyone else was Elvis.
Then someone came as Elvis, but he came as Fat Elvis with a jumpsuit. And we walked in, someone yells out, "Hey, look, it's Evel Knievel. That's not a king." And he's like, "I'm Elvis." And they're like, "Oh, you look like Evel Knievel." You had the cape.
Yeah.
You had the studs.
Yeah.
You know, you had the.
No, I
Then
get
I
it.
thought, wow, you know, it could be either one, right? If you gave him a cane, now he's Evel Knievel.
You're not.
Right? You give him a guitar, now he's Elvis. It's the same outfit,
Pretty
same
much.
haircut, everything, right?
Yeah. Same glasses.
Same glasses.
Kind of, yeah.
Only difference was the color of the hair, and if he was holding a guitar or a cane.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, Steven's getting Halloween ideas.
There we go. It's going to be king themed.
Halloween, king themed.
Just need a motorcycle.
Oh, you can get one of those. We can find you a motorcycle. What would I do as a king? I don't know. Gotta think on that.
Didn't you open a bar recently?
I opened a bar that has nothing to do with being a king. I did open a bar. Okay, so
All right, so
if we're gonna wrap this. Should we do the plug stuff?
I think this is a good time to wrap. Mm-hmm. Let's do the plug.
So I have all this stuff to plug.
Looking at Steven, so let's do the plug.
Uh-oh. What are you gonna plug?
Nothing.
Stevie Mitch.
No, okay. It's not even up.
We're just
Steven does art.
Plug that in.
we're just making a
Plug that
12-year-old
2 years from now.
Yeah.
12-year-old
Well, if anybody looks up
joke.
Stevie Mitchell or Stevie Mitch art, Stephen Mitchell art. What is you?
Plug
what
your
are you
stuff.
on? What are you on Instagram? I'm forgetting right now.
Stephen Mitchell art.
Stephen Mitchell art, and that's with a PH, not a V. Stephen Mitchell
That's
art.
Stephen Mitchell art with a PH, not a V.
Yeah. And then on Instagram, you can see some of the beautiful things he paints and sells as well. You already know this. Sheesh. I'm just pimping out my man's art here. It's good. It's really good. And then I opened a bar in downtown LA, Little Tokyo, called The Mermaid. I've got amazing partners that run the day-to-day so that I can work my full-time job and go there at night sometimes and get really tired. And it's amazing.
Right.
And it's just a good neighborhood bar with more to come. Doug Horn's going to do painting for us. It's going to be very exciting. And I have a podcast called Music and Booze with Mo, which Adrian will be on very soon.
Here it comes.
Normally, I interview bartenders who have a past or are currently musicians or DJs or producers or something. Not every time, but sometimes we're just music nerds and everything. So if people catch your episode, you're not a bartender in terms of being out there in the world, but you've made us lovely cocktails tonight.
Thank you.
So you're a good home bartender.
Thank
we
you.
know that. And they're going to find out about your musical past.
There we go.
I know. Is that a good plug? Does that work?
That sounds great. That sounds great. Let's put your Instagram out there too.
Oh, Instagram at Shebimo. SHEB as in boy, MO. Like Shebmo, but it was supposed to be Shebimo. We came up with it in like 1993. You know, early email handle.
Yeah.
We didn't realize we needed to put BE, but
Yeah.
Shebmo.
Yeah. There you go.
That. And I actually have a Facebook page that's Mo Herms. And I'll throw this out there to all of the very, very kind listeners that you have, that I was like one of the sponsors of your show this summer. And I know that a lot of people found me because of that. So thank you, Adrian. And thank you, kind people of Desert Oasis Land, who didn't know I was the voice anyway. But a lot of people try to hit me up on my personal page to be friends. And because I've had a past with crazy stalker types, please go to my public page if you just want to listen to the podcast and things like that. If I've never met you, I'm not going to accept your friend request because I have fears.
That's legitimate.
I have some PTSD
That's legitimate.
From issues from my actual radio
So look
days.
up Mo at Shebimo. And
Shebimo.
the
And
podcast
the Facebook,
podcast is located at musicandboozewithmo.podomatic.com.
And there is a Facebook page for the podcast. You will see that. It's very much
Music
that.
and Booze with Mo.
Yeah, so go check that out. I'm sure you're wonderful people, but just in case you aren't, go there. But yeah, thanks, Adrian.
You're welcome.
I'm so happy to have
Thanks
had
for being
this
on the show.
Thank you, sir.
lunch again.
Thank you. And for all our listeners out there that want to get more from Inside the Desert Oasis Room, go to our website, desertoasisroom.com, or you can follow us on Instagram at Polynesian Pop. If you want to leave a shout out, you got a comment, you want to ask a question, you want to make suggestions for future guests or anything like that at all, go to our Facebook page, Inside the Desert Oasis Room.
And hit the like and subscribe buttons.
There you
all
go.
That stuff.
For all of us. For everyone. All right. Cheers, you guys.